Yeah, man. Time come. My golden again. Yeah, yeah. Comrades. My golden.
Anyway, when the big one's strolling. Hey! Ha! My golden! Yeah. Huh! My golden ready. We're ready. Yeah, we're ready.
We're ready.
We're ready. Yeah, we're ready.
We're ready.
We're ready. Yeah, we're ready.
We're ready.
Yeah, we're ready. The people them ready.
PNP
We're
ready.
Yeah, we're ready. We're ready. Yeah, we're ready. We're ready.
Yeah, man.
We're ready. We're ready.
Pull up that now, selector.
Look
Pull
at
it
it.
up. Comrade chairperson of the meeting, Comrade Murray. Comrade president of the PNP Women's Movement. Officers of the movement. I have to say a special big up to Comrade Beverly Manley, founding president, former first lady. And before I make a mistake and get myself in trouble, I have to big up the present first lady. Babes, thank you for coming. Yeah. Comrade Joyce, enough love. All of the candidates for the People's National Party here on the platform, each and every one of you is due a whole heap of respect. And I just want to say how proud of you we are and how determined we are that we should give you all of the support that we can in the journey that is ahead of us. Most of all, of course, I have to thank each and every one of you who are here, still standing since 3 o'clock. It's been a long afternoon. So I'm not going to be long, but respect due to all of you for being here. All of the Westmoreland comrades, all the comrades from all over Jamaica who are here. Comrades, we believe in inclusion. We see the importance of ensuring that the politics of the country and the governance of the country reflects as best as possible the breakdown in the society, how the demographic makeup of the society is constituted. So when we say we have managed to reach 22 candidates out of 63, we don't feel we've reached where we want to reach, which would be complete parity, but we've managed to get to over a third. And when we started out, we were nowhere near that. So I just want to thank everyone who came on board in that mission, especially the candidates themselves. We're very proud, as I've said, of all of you. Comrades, we know that Jamaica is a society which is very harsh in its treatment of certain groups in the society. And you know, we need to be a more caring country. We need to be a country that looks after those who are vulnerable and those who need the help of the state. And a very important part of the mission of the next PNP government is to try and address those things. So for example, in the education system, we know that the resources that are available for identifying children with special needs, for meeting their requirements so that they can get an education, to help their caregivers through that process. This is something which is definitely inadequate in the current arrangements. And the next PNP government is committed to allocating more resources to support the screening early, detection early of children who may have special needs, so we can address those needs as best we can and give them the best chance in life. In social transformation, Comrade Patricia shadows that portfolio. We know that domestic violence is a big issue in this country, and it is indeed a scandalous situation that the sitting MP who was caught on video engaging in domestic violence, in public, was never really sanctioned for it in Parliament, and they have gone and put that person back as their candidate for the next election. We see his picture on the billboards as we drive through the constituency. That is a bad signal in terms of how this country needs to move forward. We want to establish special victim centers in each parish that will allow women who have been attacked or otherwise abused in any way to report it, to get checked, and to receive counseling and support in a safe, secure, and stable environment. Jamaica needs to take the issue of domestic violence and gender-based violence seriously. It is a part of our culture that we must adjust and reform, and the state needs to get behind that with the institutional arrangements that can support victims, but also in terms of the messaging that can change the culture and make us a more respectful, listening kind of people. In healthcare, we have a situation today where far too many of our citizens are afflicted with chronic illnesses, non-communicable diseases, including cancers, hypertension, which is pressure, diabetes, which is sugar, and many of them only learn about it very late in the condition. And we know that these are situations which need to be addressed early to get the best outcomes. So this is why in our health policy we are committed to much more assertive screening for these conditions. We want to reduce cervical cancer. We want to reduce breast cancer in the country. We want to ensure that those who have that get detected early, because rates of full remission and conquering those conditions are much higher if you detect it early and deal with it early. So this is why we must have a much more gender-sensitive approach to healthcare, which involves screening. And it's not just women, men as well, because we know prostate cancer is a big killer of men in the country. So what I would say is that having by Jamaican standards is a large group of female representatives stepping forward to represent the People's National Party ensures, and I hope that to make sure that it has this effect, that the agenda of women, the needs of women, the concerns of women are reflected in our thinking and in our policy formulation in every area of government, every area of public life. And you know, I just wanted to take this opportunity just to call out our candidates by name and to acknowledge them. In no particular order, it just happens to be the order that's on this list, which was very kindly written for me so I don't forget anybody who is here. And I'll start with our candidate for Southwest St. Anne, a young, vibrant warrior for the People's National Party, Danishka Williams. Big up. For Northwest St. Anne, the youngest senator, perhaps in the history of Jamaica, president of the PNP Youth Organization, a dynamic, wonderful person, Gabriela Morris, Senator Gabriela Morris. Moving to the east, Eastern St. Thomas, councillor for the Morant Bay Division, and somebody who I work closely with to help bring the victory in those two by-elections in Town and Morant Bay last year in November, which really set the tide and showed we can stand up to the Labour. Rosemary Shaw. West Rural St. Andrew, former head of the Solid Waste Agency of Jamaica, former MP in East Rural, but as a comrade running for us in West Rural, a dynamo, hard worker, good organizer, helped to set up Hanover for us, and then she came to West Rural. Joan Garden Webley. The lady who I will be voting for when election day comes, as will Mrs. G. Big up, brilliant young lawyer, first time candidate, daughter of the man they call the sheriff, the star boy, but in her own right, an emerging light, Stacey Knight. In Northwest St. Andrew, a comrade who strong on women's rights, on grassroots organization, on women in agriculture, empowerment and training of women, somebody who has hit the ground running and is going to give them a run for their money and become victorious in that constituency, comrade Ethne Miller Simpson. In Northeast St. Catherine, a comrade who worked closely with Andre Hilton in Eastern St. Andrew when he was MP, learned the politics, and courageously put herself forward to run in Northeast St. Andrew, in St. Catherine. She and I will be touring the constituency on Tuesday. Andreen Higgins, a stalwart of the party in Central Clarendon, somebody who has held down her parish council division for many years and is stepping forward as the candidate. No more Mike Henry, but they brought in a feather. She will blow away that feather. We know that she has what it takes to represent well. Fearless, powerful warrior, Comrade Carla Watt. Coming from Southwest St. Elizabeth, I first met this comrade in a thing called the Campaign for Prosperity back in 2005-06 when we were on the same team. And she has been very involved in politics from her early age. And she understands what she's doing, and she's a warrior for the people. And she wants to represent them. Our powerhouse in Southwest, Miranda Wellington. In Northeast St. Elizabeth, a brilliant lady, an attorney at law, somebody who had the courage to run against Mike Henry in Central Clarendon and never gave up. And Northeast called for her, and she was ready to answer the call. None other than Comrade Zolika Jess. And in Northwest St. Elizabeth, somebody who has emerged and is really stealing the thunder. She is an incredible candidate. I have seen her work on the ground in a seat where so many people would say PNP don't have any chance. You know, hear them argument there. She has been representing the people as if she were the MP because they have had such poor representation for so long. She's dealing with the farmers. She's dealing with the taximen. She's dealing with the single mothers. She will make a wonderful representative of the people in Northwest. And I give you Patricia Scarlett Forrester. Somebody who I work with very closely on a day-to-day basis, and I've been friends with her for quite a long time now. First met her when I was Minister of Justice. She is a brilliant woman, a great communicator, somebody who gives you good advice and is going to, I'm sure, run Homer out of the town in South St. James. And I'm talking about Nikisha Burchell. In Central St. James, a senator, somebody from a PNP pedigree, par excellence, somebody who has gone into representational politics with a fervor and an energy which has us all amazed. I've walked with her in her constituency and I see the care and love she has for the people and how they are receiving her. And I look forward to seeing Central St. James in the willing column with the name Janice Allen as the next Member of Parliament. in East Central St. James, a teacher, somebody who is well known to the people, somebody who has been working on the ground, and somebody in whom I am well pleased. I bring to you, Comrade Rochelle Reed Knott. Big up Rochelle. In Eastern Hanover, a lady, a business executive, somebody has worked in the politics behind the scenes and has decided to step forward. And she's a business person, gets things done. We bring to you, Comrade Andrea Perkis. And right beside her, on the western side of Hanover, an attorney at law, a dynamo, somebody who understands the politics, coming out of a political family, somebody who is going to win back Western Hanover for the People's National Party, Heather Miller. Sorry, just to make sure the list is complete. A stalwart, a warrior, a mentor, a vibes lady, out of Eastern St. Catherine, Nogai Tess, bring in Denise Daly. And from North Central St. Catherine, a former councillor, a lady who has served the party in many capacities, somebody who is an incredible energy in the party, who has helped me to unify the party, somebody who I respect to the max, somebody who I show complete love for, Mrs. Garvey, none other than Natalie Nita Garvey. And our first female chairman of the party, the lady who succeeded in Southwest St. Andrew, my neighboring constituency, to Sister P herself, my sister, Dr. Angela Brown Burke. And finally tonight, but by no means least, the lady who's going to represent the constituency from which I spring and from which my dear wife springs as well. None other than the lady of the moment, president of the PNP Women's Movement and next member of Parliament for Eastern St. Andrew, Patricia Duncan Sutherland. Yeah, man. Comrades, we need to rescue Jamaica. We have a government which lacks integrity. The latest thing with this cloud over this importation and procurement of these old buses is just the latest in a long, long line of shady dealings and things that don't look right through to outright nepotism and corruption. The people of Jamaica are sick to them stomach with a government that behaves in that manner on a consistent basis. Time come for a new Jamaica. Time come for a better life. Time come, Jamaica. Stand up and be counted. Put your ex beside the head. Power to the people. One love, comrades. God bless you. The word is love.